It's deluxe because it's bigger than my head. Hello everybody, it's me, GhostCritic, and I'm here with the first edition of a semi-regular series called the Deluxe Edition. This is me showing off my oversized, collected, hardback, deluxe editions of comic books. If you're any fan of a comic book and buy it monthly, or if you can't quite afford to buy those on a monthly, you will collect them in a trade paperback. And if you're a little bit more wealthy or have the spare cash to hand, you might buy these deluxe editions. They are bigger, they're oversized than you're usually used to. Yes, they do cost a little bit more. They're bound in nice hardback, and they're just great additions to your comic book shelves. And I have a fair few of them, and I thought I'd show you them off, let you see what's inside them, why I love them so much, why they probably are worth the money that you spend extra on it. And my first one is for one of my favourite comic books that are on the comic book stand still today, and that is Rick Remender, Wes Craig, Lee Loughridge, Jordan Boyd, Russ Wotton's Deadly Class. This is a huge book and it is quite heavy. This came out, the original first issue came out in January of 2014, and it absolutely blew me away. What a fantastic book this is, and I have recommended this. I have championed this book time and time again because it has never let me down. Every single issue has been fantastic. Now, I don't often double dip on a book that I'm already collecting monthly, but when I saw this, it went straight onto my Amazon wish list. Fortunately, someone else bought it for me, or it might still be there waiting for me to go, I need to treat myself. But I'm glad that certain person did, because this is a fantastic book. The concept of Deadly Class, in case you don't know, it's a title that's set in the late 80s, beginning about 87, and it focuses on our main character here, Marcus, who's kind of like the outsider of outsiders, who falls into a secret school that basically trains the world's deadliest assassins. It's viscerally violent. It takes on themes like revenge. It's got romance in there. It's all about fitting in, survival of the fittest. There's elements of self-discovery in there. It's basically, if I had to kind of sum this up and equate it to other pop culture references, it's as if John Hughes, John Woo and Hunter S. Thompson decided to get together and make a comic book. This would be it, and I will still recommend this above pretty much all comic books that are on your stands today. Let's kick off with having a look at the actual outside of this book. This is just like, if you saw this on the shelf, your eyes are immediately drawn to it. It's kind of like this hot pink cover on here. You can clearly see the book is called Deadly Class. It has this kind of almost 3D effect to it with the pinks and the blues. As you can see, it's quite the hefty book. It collects the first 3 story arcs, so that's 16 issues of gorgeous work from Remender and Craig. This volume they've entitled Book 1, Noise, Noise, Noise. That's the back of it, which shows all our kind of main characters, and as usual the little blurb at the back that tells you all about it. At the moment this is on Amazon in the UK for about £35, which I think is just great value for what you're going to see is actually inside here. I will say it once again, if you've never heard of Deadly Class, if you want a book to be recommended to you, this is the book for you. However you collect it, whether you're going to get it in singles in the smaller trades or get this gorgeous tome, then it just doesn't come more highly recommended from me than that. So go out and buy it now. Okay, we're going to look at something that I didn't actually recognise or even think about until Sleepy Reader 666, our friend Damien in the comic book community, pointed out in one of his videos and kind of continues to talk about it. And now when I buy these big omnibus deluxe editions, I can't help but notice now. Don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's what he calls in the gutter. And that's how well basically the book folds out. It's especially useful when it comes to those big double page spreads. Now in this edition, with all the issues that are in here, Deadly Class is actually quite sparse with double page spreads, so it isn't that much of an issue. We'll start with the first one. As you can see, I mean, I hate doing this anyway. I don't like pressing them down. It does kind of spoil the spine to some extent. Now, as you can see, I'm having to hold this down because if I let go, it just falls again. But yes, there is some loss here of this great end of issue 1 reveal of the King's Domain School of the Deadly Arts with its kind of headmaster here. But overall, yes, a little loss, but and again, it won't fall flat. Another part of it, not quite a double spread, but again, as you can see, there's a big loss. I can't leave that open. I don't want to, oh, I hate hearing it creak. It's like a book's in pain when I hear it creak. So I'm gonna have to hold that open as well. But I mean, great double use of the double page spread with the action following on in silhouette from there. There's another one here when they are on their trip to Las Vegas. There's a kind of acid house, Burning Man kind of festival going on where they take a shitload of drugs. But this is, again, a little bit of a loss in there, but you get the idea of what is happening here, this kind of festival party atmosphere, and your eyes go, I mean, all over the place. I mean, the nice inset paneling with the story continuing through, but there's also stuff going on all around. It is really exciting and interesting and to watch. I mean, you've got the guys, hopefully you can see, up here in the car and just kind of making their way through the big party. And then right towards the end, another double page spread of the kind of announcement of the final exam at the beginning, or maybe like the end of the main, before the battle royale kind of storyline, where they just tell all the students to kill each other, basically. But a fantastic shot of them all in this kind of auditorium. Marcus just coming in after having tried to kill one of his school colleagues pre this announcement. But yeah, it's a little bit of shame about the guttering. It does kind of, oh no, maybe not. But yes, in the gutter, the actual binding of this, hopefully you may see this. I mean, it's very well bound, but doesn't really lay flat. Let's try it right in the middle of the, but yes, it does. But we're right in the middle of there, of that book, so you have to hold it open, basically. So that's in the gutter. Obviously, what is so great about these oversized books is the artwork, how closely, how more magnified we can see this great art, and it's a fantastic team that we have here. We have Wes Craig. If we look here, Wes Craig, who was one of the co-creators but also the artist throughout. We've got Lee Lowridge colouring the first 14 issues, with Jordan Boyd at the end with issue 15 and 16. Let's not forget Russ Wotton, who did all the who was the letterer in it all the way through, and designed the logo for Deadly Class. Just a great team throughout, kind of complemented each other so well. So I've picked a bunch of stuff here that I really enjoyed and just really show this book off so well. Obviously thought I'd just show you the original first cover to Deadly Class. Just a very kind of stark, the bluey kind of grey, almost grey slaty kind of blue there, giving it this kind of hard cool edge with our group of misfits on there. What is great about the artist Wes Craig is his action sequences, and I'll be showing you a lot of these. Just a fantastic layout. He knows how to show in this case a great car chase with our two of our main characters on a bike being chased by the police, and how they get away. But the way the panels are at an angle, the speed lines, the use of colour to show this kind of dangerous look of this chase, it just works so well. Another little action sequence. Then we'll be talking about the colours on this book in a bit, but just fantastic fight scenes. You can really feel the impact of the punches, the slashes of the knives, and just to see it so big and bold in these books just makes it all the more fun and exciting and dangerous. You know, he gives these great kind of almost cinematic panels, these 4 panels that come along here. It's like the scenes out of a movie. We've got this kind of face-off on the bridge in one of the later episodes. A motorcycle against a girl with deadly fans, and this kind of perspective from each of their sides, and as they get closer and closer and you see, you know, their eyes getting angrier and angrier, and the intensity of this kind of face off, this almost playing chicken but at a more deadly rate. Just wonderful shot there. And again, all the more violence, just the great use of, obviously, of the colours here, and the setting of the panels, and it just feels so kinetic, so energetic, so full of life, despite their like kicking the crap, slicing the crap, shooting the crap out of each other. Just some wonderful work going on here. Now, I talked about the covers. One of my favourite covers here is issue 5, which was the acid trip one in Las Vegas, which was just a fantastic issue. One of my favourites of the series so far. But I just loved, obviously, the circular psychedelic nature of the inset, while the rest of it was all white. Not always a big fan of the white cover. Can kind of get a bit dirty and messy if you've got sticky fingers, but it just works with Deadly Class every time. The great thing about Wes Craig's artwork is that he was so good at making people look individual. Every kind of gang, and we see here the different kind of cliques within the School for Assassins, they all look so different. They've all got a personality of themselves. We've kind of got the preppy type characters, what they call the Dixie Mob, which is basically your rednecks, the Sotovatos, which is the drug cartel, so the Mexicans. We've got the Jersey Kings. They look a little bit on the kind of outcast of the outcasts type. The Final Word Order, and these are the South Central LA gangs. Right at the bottom, hopefully you can still see that, is the Karaki Syndicate, which is the kind of, I guess, the like the Yakuza mafia type, but they all look so individual. They've all got their own personalities, and it shows and shines through this book so much. Now finally, we're talking about colour in this book, and issue 8 was a tour de force showing Lee Loughridge and his just such evocative colouring to these books. This is like a kind of flashback history to our main character Marcus, and it starts off in like the present time, and everything's, you have this kind of grey look to it, this very dark, stark look at the present, and the shades of grey and black and white just kind of offset with what you're about to witness, a very kind of low point, a very dramatic point, a very violent point in Marcus's life. And as soon as you turn the next page, you just get this blast of this yellow, shades of yellow, the shading coming in as well. Just kind of an assault to the eyes, and it is kind of showing an assault to Marcus, who's living in this, or having to live in this kind of orphanage, but it's this awful place where, you know, the children aren't treated well, they aren't treated with love and respect, and helping them to become, you know, better people for when they eventually leave. And it's just kind of a very scary, intimidating place to live in. The colours kind of go then from orange to kind of subdued orange, almost brown colour. With the headmistress, I guess you could call her, of the orphanage. Moving on, it's shading into this green, the green shades, as Marcus has to share this kind of almost prison cell, kind of dorm with just his most hated enemy, who he. I won't spoil the storyline. I'll be very quick through these so you don't see too much. But just that whole panels of green, the different shades of green, but still inviting you into these gorgeous story and panels. And then as things build up, the colours they just start getting crazy. You know, you get your greens and a splash of orange, then back to the orange. It's almost getting to the stage of reds, because this is a very violent. And then the greens, the oranges, the greens, the reds, it all mashes up, and then it comes back to where we started, to the present day, to this kind of, again, this stark, almost, if you read the storyline, there is this stark realization of how especially these three characters are going to deal with each other in future issues. Just a great artistic, it just shows off Wes Craig, Lee Loughridge and Boyd's artwork so well, and I love this deluxe book for it. What makes these deluxe versions all the more appealing is that they have, or should have, I feel, for the price that you pay, despite the size, you know, you're paying for the big size, the hardback, etc., is all the extra material they throw in at the end. Sometimes it could be quite sparse, a little bit kind of pad, but sometimes it has some great extras that really give you an insight into not only, you know, the extra covers that you probably missed and only just bought what was on the stands, like the variant covers, but also their kind of artistic process through the work. So Deadly Class is a great example of how well it's done. We kick off with, I'm not going to show you all of this because, you know, I want you to go out and buy this and see it all for yourself. But the first part of their extras is all their variant covers. We have the Beach Ball Comics variant here by Eric Canetti and Dean White. Dean White, great colorist. Over here we've got the Third Eye Comics variant by Harper Genet, so that's really nice. show you a couple more, won't show you them all. There's a Farrell Dalrymple and a Phil Noto variant cover, again for both issue number 1s. Just fantastic covers. Just the normal stand ones are great. These are some lovely interpretations given by some great artists. Also some fantastic insights into character designs, little head sketches here, uniform designs we see there, all the kind of some of the major characters we see, their looks, the way they've evolved, just the way they kind of stand even. Great nice little sketchbook there. Moving on, we get kind of evolution of some comic cover designs, some rough sketches, inked layouts, just some great extra stuff there, seeing it kind of almost pre-production, so to speak. Then they give us quite a substantial page layout with some inking on there, showing the kind of almost the bare bones of what you don't see before it gets coloured and shaded and all that stuff. So this is really fun and exciting to see how they construct all the panels and how they work the page throughout. And then finally, for the extras, there's a lot of extras in here. You get the full script of the first issue. So you've had all the kind of artistic stuff, but we get Remender's storyline, how he wanted it paced, what he wanted everyone to say, and the way he wanted them to be seen as they are saying it. So that's a really nice addition to this deluxe version 2. The only really other extra bit, if you're of any interest, these kind of books always like to have a kind of forward from a famous person from within the industry. Here we have David Lapham telling us how great and how awful our high school years were, and how it's seen from Remender's perspective in this book. So again, great stuff from this book. Love Deadly Class. I hope you enjoyed this first deluxe edition. Hopefully I'll be making many more of these.